Welcome to this session on building a team. So great companies are built by great teams. Great leaders know how to hire and create an environment where teams can thrive. And so if you want to move beyond just being a solo entrepreneur and build a team, these are the things that you need to know. 3 things that we think about when building a team. The first is, what positions do you need? The second is an accurate and clear description of the job, of the role. And the third is a process for hiring people and then taking people off of your team. And so let's start back here with positions. So a few things to think about when you think about positions is, what is the optimum structure for your organization? How can you optimize the output of your organization with the least amount of resources? And so that's usually what you're looking at. And the way that you do that is, if you're the only person in the organization to start out with, you look at, what are you weak at? So things that you're not necessarily good at or that you don't like to do. And those are good tasks to offload and to say, okay, I'm going to hire somebody to be strong where I'm weak, or I'm going to hire somebody to handle a task that I don't like to do. And so that's a great approach. The second approach is, what are the time-consuming tasks that exist within your company? So if you can fill positions that consume a lot of time and that are things that you're not good at and things that you don't enjoy doing, your business is going to grow. It's going to be in better shape. And so that's the process of defining positions within your company. 2 key things: weaknesses and time-consuming tasks, and that helps you know the order. So you may say, I'm going to fill this one first, then I'm going to fill this one. I'm actually going to not hire a boss here. I'm going to fill this one and then this one, and then once I fill those 2, then I'll hire a boss for that position. So those are the types of things that you do there. The next step is having a really good description of each position that you want to fill. And so that description consists of 3 things. First is responsibilities. So what will that person be responsible for? The functions and tasks that they'll need to do. The second would be goals. So how will they be measured? What are the goals that they're expected to achieve in that position? And then the last thing is experience. Based on the responsibilities that are in that position, you will determine what kind of experience should the person have that's a good candidate for that position. So areas of responsibility, the goals, how they'll be measured, and experience. And the great thing about nailing this down is, after you hire somebody, you can always come back to them. If they're not doing any of the things in here, you can use this as a guide for your conversation to help them improve their performance. So having a great description is the next step. Then the last thing is a process. And so you need to develop a hiring process. And usually there are several steps to it. The first is to source candidates. And so trying to get the word out that, hey, we have a position 1 over here that's available in our company, and there are different ways to do that depending on where you live. It may be word of mouth, it may be in the internet, it may be posting something at a building in town, what have you. And then qualify people. So people that say, okay, hey, I'm interested in that position, is you want to qualify them against the experience criteria that you put in the description. The next thing is, you may go through some process to filter them. Maybe before you have a big interview and everything, you're just going to do a quick phone call with them so that you can filter out some of them. Or you may have them do a step. And one recommendation I have for anybody in hiring is, try to find ways to make the candidate do more of the work, and where you're not stuck doing all the work in the hiring process. So if you get them to do some of the work, it gives you an opportunity to test their communication skills, their work ethic, and those types of things. So you filter the candidates, and then there's an interview process, and developing an interview guide that has key questions. And we have some of that in the Work for Life training program, where here's some great questions you can ask individuals to be able to determine, are they going to be a good fit for the position that you have available. Then the next and really critical important step is to check references. And so you want to ask them for 3 to 5 people that they've done business with, that know them personally and professionally, that you can talk to give a character reference and to talk to how they work and those types of things. This is a key step, and many managers skip it, and they usually skip it because they're lazy. And so don't be lazy. Check references. It'll make a big difference, and you have to be smart about how you ask questions and think about what they don't say. So sometimes people that you call for references may just kind of say some good information, but they won't really say anything bad. So you have to kind of look under the covers and read between the lines and figure out, is there something else going on there that they're not telling me about. So check references, and then the last step is to, of course, make an offer, have them sign that offer, make sure that they sign their job description. So the responsibilities and goals that were set out, that they acknowledge them, and they are saying, I can do this. So that you can use that as a guide later on. Now, every manager in the world is not perfect, and so you're going to hire people that do not end up meeting your needs. They don't achieve the goals that you laid out, or they're just not a fit culturally for your organization. They don't get along with people, maybe they don't get along with customers, whatever it may be. And so you have to have a way to get rid of those people. And you should have a similar process, and it should be very detailed. And there's different things that you can do, but making sure that all of your employees know your process. The first step might just be a verbal warning. Hey, did you realize that you didn't do this right? You didn't meet that goal, or you were abrasive to this other employee or whatever. So a verbal warning, and that they need to correct it, And if it happens again, then maybe it's the first written warning. Okay, I need to talk to you again. The same issue occurred. Here's a written write up about it, saying that this is what happened, here's the date, and then maybe you do a second write up, and then one more time, and then you have to let them go. So whatever your process is, you can define it. Maybe it's one shot and you're out. It just depends on your company culture. Maybe you give people 3 chances and you're out. You can decide that, but whatever it is, that it needs to be documented, detailed. All your employees need to know it, and you need to have standard forms that you use for that. So again, to build a team, know what positions you need to fill and why you need to fill them and what order you're going to fill them in. Have a clear description of the responsibilities, goals, and experience for each position, and then have a detailed process that you go through to hire and to fire people that don't work out. Good luck.